Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Puckett here. Your homework is to watch this video on symbiosis and take notes on the information just as if we were viewing this presentation in class. You can view the video as many times as needed to make sure you get all of the information. Feel free to pause and rewind whenever necessary to make sure you get the notes you need. Be as detailed as possible. All right, let's get started. So Symbiosis is a close long-term association or relationship between two or more species. If you look at the word symbiosis, the first part sym, S-Y-M, means together. Bio, as we already know, means life. So symbiosis means living together. In symbiotic relationships, there will always be at least one organism that benefits. We are going to discuss 5 different types of symbiotic relationships. Those 5 types include predation, competition, mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. The first relationship is predation. This one you might be familiar with. Predation is a symbiotic relationship where one organism captures and consumes the other. In this type of relationship, there are 2 different organisms. The first is the predator, which is the organism doing the capturing, or the organism that eats the prey. And then you have the prey, which is the organism that is being captured, or the organism that is eaten by the predator. In this type of relationship, the predator's survival depends on its ability to catch their prey. If they don't catch their prey, they don't get to eat. If they don't get to eat, they won't be able to survive. Some adaptations that predators have developed include speed, poisonous venom, being able to create a web. All of these things help a predator survive. On the other hand, the prey's survival depends on its ability to avoid being caught. Ways prey can avoid being caught include camouflage, physical or chemical defenses. So maybe it has a poisonous secretion that comes out and protects itself. If you look at our example here, this picture, you see the owl, which is the predator, and you see the little tiny mouse, who is the prey. Our next type of symbiotic relationship is competition. This one you might also be familiar with. Competition is a symbiotic relationship where 2 or more individuals or populations are trying to use the same limited resources. These resources include food, water, shelter, space, and sunlight. So for example, in this picture, these elks are competing for food from plants. Elk are herbivores, and there are so many plants in their habitat. All of the elks are competing over the same plants for food. You could also add in other herbivores which are competing for the same food as well. So other herbivores and the elks are also competing against each other. This type of symbiotic relationship, each organism is trying to win, and what they get for winning is survival. So if you think about a competition you might have been in, very similar. You are trying to win, just like the elk. Our next relationship is mutualism. This is a symbiotic relationship where both organisms are helped or both organisms benefit. My example here are flowers and bees. Bees get nectar to make honey from flowers. Bees carry pollen from flower to flower, resulting in pollination. The bee is benefiting by getting food, and the flower is benefiting by being pollinated and able to reproduce and have more flowers grow. I have 2 smiley faces here. That is because both organisms are happy. They're being benefited. They're being helped. So when you think mutualism, think 2 happy smiley faces. Our next symbiotic relationship is commensalism. This is a symbiotic relationship where one organism benefits and the second organism is unaffected. The second organism is neither harmed nor helped. My example here are sharks and remoras. Remoras attach to the shark's body and feed on scraps of food left by the sharks. The remoras benefit by getting the food they need, and the sharks are unaffected. They're just going about their normal daily lives as if nothing else was happening. So again, let's look at the two faces. You have a smiley face, that would be the remoras. They're benefiting, they're getting fed, they're being helped, they are happy. Then you have the neutral face, that would be the sharks. They're not being they're not helped, so they're not happy. They're not being harmed, so they're not sad. They're just sort of there, carrying on with their daily lives. Our next example is parasitism. Parasitism is a symbiotic relationship where one organism benefits or is helped and the other organism is harmed. If you look at the word parasitism, you will notice the root of the word is parasite. So in parasitism, you have a parasite, which is the organism that benefits or is helped, and you have a host. The host is the organism that is harmed, but not usually killed. Parasites don't like to kill their host because then they would have to go find a new one. My example here is probably one you're familiar with. Dogs and fleas. Dogs have an allergic reaction to the fleas, and the fleas have a home and get their food. The dog is harmed by being bitten and having that allergic reaction. The flea benefits by having a place to live and getting its food. So if you look at the two faces, you have a happy smiley face, that would be the parasite or the flea, because they're being helped or benefiting from this relationship. Then you have the sad frowny face. The sad frowny face would be the dog. He is having an allergic reaction and he is being bit over and over again and probably not very happy. So when you think about parasitism, you have one happy face and one frowny face. That is all for today. Make sure you have all of your notes. See you next time.